Now that we've talked about a little bit about the different types of personal social networking sites out there and business social websites out there, we're going to move on to how they've affected our day-to-day lives. The positives is this was surely a technical breakthrough. We've used the technical expertise that's came in the last decade has helped us evolve and become tons more productive and tons more connected to hundreds of more people than we would through traditional means of networking, be it exchanging business cards or just phone numbers when you meet people. High school and college friends, like I was talking about earlier, reuniting after long periods of separation. I don't know about you, but it's always been fun trying to wonder what happened to that old high school sweetheart that you haven't seen in a decade. Well, you wouldn't naturally walk up to her on the side of the street and say, "Hey, how are you doing?" But on the other end, if you happen to run across her on Facebook, it's not so bad to send her an email. You get away with that. I think we've all done that one time or another. And then, of course, the third probably positive instance that social networking has given us is a whole new economy with the building of mobile web applications, from games to how to update your statuses through mobile, through cell phone usage. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs that have been given to that purpose. Now, of course, it wouldn't be fair unless we talked about the negatives. The negatives, according to a research study by NASPA, which is an organization created for the purposes of studying student affairs in higher education, shows that there is a need to be concerned with the lack of development in direct communication skills that has been substituted by the use of spaces like MySpace and Facebook. Long story short, we're becoming more used to working through a computer screen than actually shaking hands and talking to a person one-on-one. But there have also been situations now where, unfortunately, people are losing their jobs because of Facebook and Twitter and MySpace. And of course, kids are being suspended from school all the time because of it, because they're paying more attention to this than what they should be doing in their academic lives. And of course, as finally, etiquette. A whole new form of etiquette has now had to be formed because of social networking sites. There are way too many friends and family members who are now all connected to one another that may not need to know what you had for dinner last night, but also doesn't need to know about the argument that you had with your wife the night before. These things cause issues on scales 100 times bigger than it would have been without them. So, in essence, we've created something called netiquette now for those purposes. So let's review what I've discussed with you today. The definition and history of social networking sites, how social networking sites both personally and professionally affected us, and basically how those sites came about. In closing, so when the next story like the boy in the helium balloon over Colorado is let out, I bet you'll use Twitter or something like Twitter to find out that in actuality it was a hoax. And then you'll also, when you have something interesting like when the baseball game gets rained out, you'll have that little extra piece of information knowing when the game was going to get rained out or what the next pitch is going to be. This will help you be the first on the need to know. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed my speech.